Good afternoon, this is Brian. Today is July 27th, 2019. I am in the Angeles National Forest between Islip Saddle, which is that way, and Dawson Saddle, which is actually behind the folds of those two mountains right there. Mount Lewis, and that's the ridge that leads towards Troop Peak. Today, I'm planning on hiking up this canyon right here to Windy Gap. This would be the shortest way I've ever gone to Windy Gap, provided the route is clear enough. I'm trying to see if there are any mile markers here. But it's a really decent turnout right here. Some good views from here. But I was going to head up this gully right here and try to join up with Windy Gap. I'm not planning on hiking Mount Islip. It's already done that this year. But there are a couple of very random peaks. Let's watch crossing here. A couple of random peaks along the way. If you join the Pacific Crest Trail at the saddle where Windy Gap is, you can go east, which is this way on the PCT, and then you can join up with some peaks like Mount Hawkins, Troop Peak, if you want to do it this way. Well, my goal for today leads me to near Mount Islip. Well, no, I should say Mount Hawkins. I mean, Windy Gap is really close to Mount Islip. But I'm planning on hitting a couple peaks that are just west of Mount Hawkins, or at least one of them, depending on how I feel. It's a very warm day today, and I just got here from work. Just like last Saturday, I came here after work. Now, I'm basically going to be heading up this gully to Windy Gap. It looks like it starts off with a little use trail. I was looking at the imagery on Google Earth, and it looked like there was some type of a pathway that leads to Windy Gap. So I'm going to follow this. I was figuring, at worst, I'd have to do some cross-country trailless hiking to get to Windy Gap. I don't feel like hiking all the way from Islip Saddle. I mean, it's already 4 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and don't want to be hiking till 10 o'clock at night. So, I guess I'm just going to follow this use trail. Should lead me over to Windy Gap. It's about from here, it's probably about a 300 to 350 foot gain. The elevation here is about 7,240 feet, roughly. About. I looked at it on Google Earth. And Windy Gap is just a sliver under 7,600. It's about 7,588 feet, I believe. So, while I have been to Windy Gap on a fair amount of occasions, hiking up from Crystal Lake and hiking up from Islip Saddle, never hiked this way. But as it starts out, it's a pretty decent looking trail here. Not an official trail to my knowledge, but basically the northern extension of the Windy Gap Trail. And you get to go up this nice little canyon right here. A lot of beautiful white firs here. A lot of beautiful white firs. There's Abies concolor, variety concolor. Now, one peak I definitely want to hit up is this one peak. It's an unnamed peak, like a lot of the ones I've been hitting up lately. This time it is on Peak Bagger. It's between Mount Islip and Mount Hawkins. It's called Peak 8426. Peak I've passed by a few times because I've hiked along that way on the PCT. PCT gets very close to it. However, instead of going over it, it skirts around the north side of the mountain peak. So when I get to a point after a couple of switchbacks going this way, I'm gonna look towards where the PCT swings around the north side of Peak 8426, and before it starts to swing around, I'll probably just head up the ridge from the PCT, or if it looks too steep, I might bypass 8426 and then backtrack up the less steep east side of it. So right now I'm going to take a look and see what the west side offers. But if I have enough juice, which I don't know, there's another peak called Peak 8600. It's about 8,600 feet. It's not an official trail. I mean, it's not an official peak. Again, but it's not even on Peak Bagger. So that is kind of a secondary goal for me. My primary goal is to get to Peak 8426. Considering how tired I am after a strenuous day at work, it'll probably be good enough for me. Looks like, let's see, I mean, Windy Gap's just up that way, but we'll see. Very warm today. Definitely nicer than it is in the lowlands, so this is doable. I can deal with this. Brought a little extra water. It's probably going to be less than a 3-mile round trip hike, which is fine. Just got out of work. Not really looking to go gonzo today, but yeah, it's a beautiful canyon here. Predominantly white fir. It looks like the curve fire that hit on the other side of the ridge definitely did some damage here. You see some old snags. These are burnt trees here, like this, and a few others. So, the curve fire that, what I believe started on South Mount Hawkins, did crest the north side of the ridge in some spots. And you'll see more of that when we're heading east from Windy Gap. You will see a lot more damage along the ridge, which the peak, I think, Peak 8426 will be in that zone. So it's pretty cool. There's a little nice little use trail here. It's going to take me right up there to Windy Gap. So I'm going to keep climbing, and when I get to Windy Gap, I'll turn left, and there we go. So I'll see you in part 2. Beautiful over here. It's a nice little gully. I didn't think there was going to be a very followable trail. I thought there would be little traces of a footpath here, but I'm pretty pleasantly surprised. It's pretty good. Actually a pretty good use trail here. So I'll see you along the way for part 2.